Hi friends, Alexis Martin here. Last night I posted a picture of Visvamitrasana and I got a lot of feedback last night as far as how do I do this or how do I get into it. So I thought today I would post a how-to video on some tips and tricks on how to make your way there. So before we get started, there's a couple things to remember. The first thing is that Visvamitrasana is a huge side body lengthener. It gets deep into the lower back space and all the intercostals, the serratus, the lats, and then it's a twist on top of that. It's a heart-opening twist. And in addition to that, it's also a major hamstring lengthener. And to top it all off, you're balancing on your hand. So as we make our way into it today, I'm going to open you up with a few invitations, little teasers, before we get to the grand finale at the end. So here we go. First one is Supta Visvamitrasana. Supta variation is really great because you're able to get into it and not worry about the arm balance aspect of it. So come to lay on your side body, reclining Buddha. And as you do that, take the top leg towards the sky, and first step, first key point is you want to work the shoulder and the thigh as close to your ribs or behind your ribs as possible. So take your thumb and your index finger and wrap it around your heel, use the webbing, and have the webbing touch the webbing behind your ankle. And then sometimes bringing your foot forward and even holding onto the heel firmly and drawing that knee back behind you will give you a little bit more opening and space. Then you can start to really work the shoulder up underneath the knee and allow it to fit in there like a ball in a mitt. Now to keep your balance so you're not tipping over, just like in the standing arm balance variation, you want to really fire up the bottom leg. And then take your hand over top of the foot, take the opposite hand that was holding your leg and bring it out in front of you for balance. And this is a great opportunity to really find the extension, the length. So ground the sit bones and the buttock flesh towards the back of your bottom thigh, and then start to grow your chest long against that space, broadening through the collarbones. And then from there, you can start to reach the legs in both directions, and that's where you'll really find your length and your balance, when you can fire up those legs and find the healthy tension and the pulling against each other for the balance. All right? So that's variation one. Invitation one. Invitation two. Compass pose. So come to seated. Half of a Baddha Konasana and one leg. And the opposite leg, we're going to do the same thing we did earlier. So you find that nice little handy grip behind your ankle. And then start to guide the knee back behind you in space towards the posterior side of the body. And then once you go back, think in. So take it wide and then take it in so that the ribs and the inner thighs hook in towards each other. Glue it in nice and tight. And then hook the hook the knee over top of the shoulder. And the other point is you want to think about what happens to the shoulder once it gets hooked. You don't want it to be dragged forward or dragged all the way down. So if you take the hand out to the side and root that sit bone down into the mat, you can actually draw the shoulder back in space and find a lifted heart. And then from the sit bones, grow everything nice and long and tall. This is a great variation as well because you can really work the arm in this pose so you're not dumping into the shoulder, rather pinning it into the backside body, sliding the shoulder blade, the right shoulder blade down the back, and the other shoulder is in the upward lifted variation because the arm is over top of your head. All right? Good. And then from there, let's try coming into your Warrior Two stance, your modified Warrior Two on the back knee for Ardha Visvamitrasana. From here, take the hand back behind you once again, and you're going to hook the shoulder underneath the knee and the knee over top of the shoulder. You might even have to move your fleshiness from your side ribs out of the way. I like to come forward and then in to get as much strong and firm contact as possible. Take the hand. You don't want the hand, this is a big key point, you don't want the hand right beside the foot. You want the hand either in front of the foot and to the side of the foot so that you can actually come on top of the posture, because if you are too compact, you actually don't have any freedom to move, and too little space means there's no flying. So pull in, take the hand forward into the side. Now, from here, you're going to come up into the ball of your front foot and just kind of shift your weight forward. And just see what it feels like to shift forward and back, and forward and then back. And then keeping that connection, keeping the strong connection between the knee and the shoulder and the ribs and the inner thighs. Maybe you go forwards and backs in the other direction to see what it feels like to rock and rock and rock and rock. And then maybe you get to the point where you rock all the way and you lean back and bring the weight onto your hand. You can take your other hand to your waist and that foot will just slowly lift up off of the mat. And then as you lift that foot up off of the mat, instead of sitting back into it, think about pressing the foot and the pelvis forward. And then you can start to pin the shoulder back, engaging through the serratus and the lats. All right, now if you want to add the top hand to it, you get that nice good grip once again. You hold onto the foot, and all you do is lean back onto the arm and lift forward. And then as you start to straighten out your standing arm and pin the shoulder back, you can start to straighten the top leg and peekaboo up underneath the armpit. All right. There's also this inner thigh engagement as well as this reaching out using your bandhas. Good. Now for the full variation. All those same cues apply, except the other thing that you really want to add is the length in the back leg. So as you're rooting down into the back foot, think about lifting the arch as well as drawing the inner thighs in towards each other in an eccentric contraction. So don't actually move the legs in, you just want to lift through the inner thigh space so that you find more strength and balance in the posture. So come into your warrior two stance, the full warrior two. For the full Visvamitrasana, work the shoulder up underneath the thigh once again. Good. So you don't want your stance to be too long and you don't want your stance to be too short. You want it to be right in the middle so that your knee is over top of your ankle. And then work the shoulder up underneath the thigh. And once again, take your hand forward and to the side. And that way you can come on top of the posture like so. Forward. And then maybe you just play with that a little bit. See what that feels like. Rock forwards and backwards. What does it feel like to shift your weight from your foot onto your hand? And then to give it a go, shift back. Shift back, shift back. Maybe take your hand to your waist, pin the shoulder back, and just see what it feels like to balance there. And then once again, you bring the arm up and over, hold onto the foot, shift the weight forward, shift the weight back onto the hand, but press the pelvis forward, whoops. Press the pelvis forward, start to lift the chest, really lock out the back leg, and then start to take that foot up and over your head, up and over your head, and reach and reach and reach and reach. Good. And then to slowly come out, you can come into your Kundalini from there. That's always a nice transition. And then slowly release. Good. So post comments. I thank you for joining me for this Visvamitrasana tutorial. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Ciao. Namaste.